Greetings and welcome back to Hiveswap Friendsim. Last time, we met God! And now, it's all downhill from here. No, it's not. It's not gonna be. It's gonna be great. But, it's pretty hard, act to follow up on Marvelous, Actually, no, it isn't. Hey! What's up, guys? I mean, they wrote his lines with that, that way. So of course it's gonna be only that. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. It's in the past. It's done. Now let's move on to volume 17 of Teen and Tech Acerbic. Alright? Okay. Teenagers. Well, they're all teenagers, so it's fine, I guess. Yes. This is it, fellas. Another night of laughter and camaraderie. Another night of joy and communion with some totally normal teens who would never... Just kidding. Idiot, you are still an Alternia. You just know one of these miserable chuckle foxes around here somewhere, waiting for the exact right moment to inundate you with another disgusting dose of friendship. Who is going to be the author of your destruction on this accursed evening? Why, it's going to be Daraya, obviously. Junjet. Oh, these two are kind of similar, actually. Give off similar vibes. Well, not really, but still. Anyway, Daraya. Let's begin with you. Let's start. Your feet drag as you walk, every limb heavy and slow, and your thoughts are cloudy and dull. Your palm husk is filled with unanswered texts. You feel guilty about this, in the back of your mind, where real feelings live crammed together because the front of your mind is too busy being lethargic and numb. Being a bad friend goes against the core tenets of your beliefs, but answering text just seems like too much effort. I get it. You're not sure where this particular malaise came from, just that the unusual friend-making animus that drives you is still there, but it doesn't feel strong enough to overcome how tired you are of everything else. You can't quite remember how it felt to care that much about companionship and camaraderie. In fact, right now, you can't remember how it felt to care about much of anything. Your thoughts drift to fantasies of driving your car into the uninhabitable Alternian desert until you run out of fuel, and perhaps letting the sun have its way with you. It could be part of that feeling that you've almost made all the friends there are to make, and that there's little left for you to do on this planet. It could be weeks of trauma catching up and sinking you into depression to protect you from thinking about it all. Either way, it just feels like so much effort to do anything, and you'd sort of welcome oblivion if it showed up right now to offer its sweet embrace. Your listless walking has taken you into a familiar neighborhood. The cerulean part of town. You smile as you reminisce, sweet memories peeking through like beams of sunlight through the fog of your apathy. Not far from here is Malakhiv, with all of its hacking equipment and charming upper-middle-class atmosphere of entitlement and complacence mixed with vaguely socially aware concern. And though you've only seen pictures of it on Chitter, you know that Remel's hipster art studio Hive is also in the neighborhood. And one block over is Ardata's place, which gave you your gruesome and troubling introduction to Alternian social mores. One taught you love, one taught you patience, one taught you pain, or something like that. The Hive you're closest to is actually Elwood's, and as you shamble closer to you realize that a lot of other trolls seem to be converging here too. Fishing out your palm husk, you see that the unread message from Elwood is an invitation to a party at her place. Looking around you, you feel a flame of your old desire to meet and greet rekindling in your heart. There are plenty of trolls here you haven't met yet, plenty of opportunities for friendship. The now roaring fire in your belly feels a little artificial, like someone just injected you with friend-making hormones to flood out your regular human melancholy, but you're not going to complain because this is vastly preferable. As you're walking briskly towards Elwood's hive, you spot a troll lurking in the shadows by Elwood's back door, Curious, you approach, and when you get closer you can spot the jade green in her outfit. Although, there's not much of a blood color in comparison to what most other trolls seem to sport, because she's mostly wearing black, and spikes, and black spikes. It's you. Guess it makes sense you'd be here. You're probably friends with Elward, huh? Whatever. Yeah, you're friends with Elward, but you didn't come here for the party. You're just a neighborhood. You try to mimic Daraya's disaffected slouch. It's not hard, as you can just channel you from about 60 seconds ago who was very disaffected indeed. From the approving arch of Daraya's eyebrow, you think you're doing a pretty good job. Yeah, party's lame. Most parties are anyway. This one might be cool. Elwood's pretty cool. I mean, she seems alright. I don't think she's that cool. I just think her hair and clothes and personality don't completely suck is all. You tactfully don't comment on the green-blue blush to Daraya's cheeks when she's talking about Elwood, nor the way she keeps glancing at the door like she's hoping someone will invite her in. She's clearly trying to sneak into this party and doesn't have an invite. When the branch snaps in the bushes, Daraya startles and looks around, shiftily. You wonder if she's supposed to be out on her own this far from the caverns at all. I'm not baby like Wan Shi, so what if I snuck out? The cloister rules are so lame. Bronya's so lame. Bronya's fine, come on now. I can't believe Elwood used to hang out with her, but I guess if she hadn't befriended Bronya, then I never would have met her. It's hard to meet non-Jade Bloods in the caverns. All the time you're underground with nothing but Lucia and grubs and the same stupid Jades every day. It sucks down there. Daraya's imitation grub horn bracelets clunk as she folds her arms over her chest. Her heavy makeup makes it look like her eyes are twin black holes, where all sense of fun and caring about things might go to die. She's giving you a marked contrast from how Bronya talked about the caverns, with the peace and quiet and safety they offered compared to Alternia's surface. And other than that time Linera nearly killed you in the cave, and that time you were nearly trampled by a rampage Glucis, you remember liking the caverns. You'd think that. Don't know why I thought you might be cool. You might be friends with Elward, but you're also friends with... Bronya and Linera. They're the two most boring trolls on this planet. You can't help but feel slightly defensive of your friends. Sure, Linera is... Linera, but you wouldn't call her boring. And Bronya is very fond of rules, it's true, but she can hang. Whatever. This conversation's dumb. I don't care if you can't get me into the party. Nothing matters anyway. Just make your stupid choice and get on with it. I don't even know. Party hard? Come on, Daraya, let's go to the party. What the hell? It's not your job to keep anyone in line. It's not like you have a great understanding of why even the older Jade Bloods need to stay on the ground anyway. If Daraya wants to sneak into parties and get into trouble, who are you to say no? Daraya expresses no pleasure to the decision to get her into the party. Of course not. She just shrugs and rolls her eyes. You shrug and roll your eyes back. You can play the role of disaffected teen with the best of them. You take her around to the front door. Hey, you're looking forward to seeing Elwood again. When you met her, you didn't have nearly as many friends as you do now, and in retrospect, you know you came off as kind of sycophantic. Wouldn't it be great if you could introduce Elwood to the new, popular and knowledgeable you? As you're walking up the steps, a huge shadow dwarfs yours. You look up to see Chahut, of all trolls, grinning above you. Chahut's great. Well, hey little one. I remember you. And who is this new little one you've got with you? Chahut switches her interest from you to Daraya, grinning down at her. Daraya isn't huge for a Jade Blood or anything, but she seems absurdly tiny with Chahut looming down at her like that. I mean, everyone seems tiny compared to Chahut. I mean, look at Chahut. She's gigantic. She doesn't even fit in the whole screen, that's all. Her face remains impassive and bored, but she scuffs one of her big black boots on the ground and twists one of her spiky bracelets around on her wrist. Cute! Don't see many little jades outside of the caverns. I've always found greenies fascinating, so devoted to the continuation of the species. What a holy mission. Jahud moves slowly and lazily and picks Daraya up. Like she has all the time in the world and no conceivable reason to rush, and reaches out to pat Daraya's shoulder. She lets her hand linger, one claw resting against Daraya's neck. Okay, Daraya's just sweating. Okay. Ain't it a dangerous proposition to be so far away from your green brothers and sisters? Unless you're hiding something in those pretty veins. A slimy chill runs down your spine. Daraya seems frozen to the spot. Yeah, clowns have powers. They see things differently. They're different. The clowns are different. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the clowns. Don't mess with the clowns. Daraya seems frozen to the spot, staring straight ahead at Jahud's bosom in front of her. You think Jahud is joking, but it can be hard to tell. With clowns, their humor is just so much more highbrow than everyone else. It's also literally a religion that with actual magic powers. So, like, I don't know. Don't assume they're joking. Just joking. This looks like a good party, even if Elwood is too blasphemous for my taste sometimes. See both of you little ones inside. And then she ambles away, bending down to duck inside the door to the party. You hear party sounds, music and laughter, and clinking drinks, and what could be the sound of someone being murdered, which qualifies as party noise on this planet. Then the door swings shut again, and you and Daraya look at each other. Daraya's heavy makeup can make it hard to read her expression, but you can still tell that she's rattled. You know what? It looks like this party's filled with lame conformers. All these hobblers that buy into the system and do what they're told, even Elward. We can find something better to do somewhere else. Yeah, to hell with this party. You're down to find your own fun, especially if that means not putting Daraya in the way of potentially murder-happy clowns. Yeah, we don't want to get murdered. As you saunter away from the party, you realize that Daraya is looking at you expectantly. Well, you've got this reputation for being all unconventional and weird and rebellious. Everyone seems to think that you're like totally fucking with the conventions of society or whatever. So you got any suggestions for cool shit to do? Oh god. You sure felt a lot of pressure to be quirky since the word has spread about your manic pixie dream alien ways. It's not like you're trying to be a vehicle for other characters to project onto, assisting in character growth and insight for those around you, while your impulse decisions and carefree ways somehow keep you yourself stagnant and forever unchanged. It seems to sometimes be like that. Anyway, you're tired, and it's daunting to have a punk teen expecting you to come up with suggestions for cool stuff. You have a feeling she's just going to shoot down whatever you suggest. You rack your brain trying to think of anywhere from your many adventures that Daraya might like. Your think pad comes up with zilch and squat, and she's starting to look bored with you. Confessing that you can't think of anything is probably an option if you want Daraya to be your friend, and as exhausted and disillusioned as you feel with your societal routine, you like her and you want to bond. I don't know. What do you want to do? I don't know. You tell Daraya that you have no ideas for cool things to do because everything on this planet is lame. But she's from here. Does she know of any non-lame places to go? I told you I'm stuck underground all the time. It's not my fault that I'm literally sheltered and never get to do anything fun. Oops. Maybe this was the wrong approach. She seems pissed at you. But then Daraya sighs loudly and uncrosses her arms from her chest. I do know of one place that's pretty alright, I guess. Better than here anyway. It's far though. No problem, you've got wheels. You're walking around the neighborhood because, well, you felt lifeless and glum and your car needs alien fuel, which you've been reluctant to ask someone how to get because you don't want to be told it runs on grub grease, something like that. But now you have purpose again, and you're more than willing to provide transportation service of your new friendship goal. You take the ride to your car parked a few blocks away, and she directs you where to go. You drive through neighborhood after neighborhood, through the yellow blood slums where you met Volkel and Kuprum, the busy urban sector where you had adventures with Tagora, and the austere indigo bloods enclave where Galak lives. Eventually the buildings get sparse, and you think about how you were yearning to drive out into the barren landscape and, Not die, maybe, but stop. Just let it all end. You don't think that I would take you all the way out here just for you to both meet sweet oblivion, but who knows, trolls can be kinda hard to predict. Just when you think you've reached the point where there can't be any more city or suburbs left, a rubble of massive old buildings come into view. It looks almost like a miniature version of the main Alternian city that you're used to, except it's all abandoned and mostly ruined. Nothing around here looks inhabitable. Rumor has it that some of the trolls who lived here pissed off the Condess, so she called this whole town. That would have been way back in the day. It's ancient history now. If there were any survivors, I guess they'd be either dead or up in space. Anyway, all these old buildings are kinda sick. There's never anyone else here and I'm into that. Yeah, fair enough. You drive until she tells you to stop in front of a huge crumbling building, and even though this thing is half gone, you can still tell it's a mall. It seems a bit different from the mall you visited with Polypa, even aside from the fact that it's totally dark and there's no one inside it. It seems more old-fashioned, a lot more like one of your familiar Earth malls. Every dystopian movie you've ever seen has taught you to be extremely wary of abandoned malls, and you feel pretty nervous as Daraya takes you up the rickety frozen escalator. It's so dark you could barely see your hand in front of your face. You're trying not to show your fear, because you don't want to look like a wuss in front of Daraya, but you can't hold back a whimper when your foot lands on a step that makes a distinctive about to collapse noise. Don't be scared. It's okay. I've climbed all over this place 1,000 times, and anything that isn't already disintegrated is sturdy enough. And there's no risk of culling out here because, well, everyone's already been culled. She's gentler towards you than you would have expected, given her cynical and spiky demeanor. You swallow your fear as you reach the top of this escalator and tell her that it's chill, you just have some horror movie associations. Daraya turns and pats you stiffly on the arm. You would never tell her this, but her reassuring manner once she's noticed someone is in distress kind of reminds you of Bronya. Well, yeah, because that's a nice thing. It's worth when you get to the cool part. Come on! Shit continues to be dark for a while, though you see some light up ahead. As you get closer, the hall opens up into a food court, and you see that the light is moonlight shining through the mostly absent roof. And Daraya was right. There is something extremely surreal and cool about a decrepit empty food court with the roof caved in. Rubble sits atop cafeteria tables and plastic food trays are scattered on the floor and... okay, that might be the remains of a troll skeleton. Still wearing a mostly disintegrated fast food uniform. Which is less cool and makes you remember that this place is abandoned because the Condess sent drones here to murder everyone. You wanna know the weirdest thing about this mall? It seems like actual adults used to maybe work here. I've gone through a lot of the stores and some of them are for adult-sized things. And there's a store just for like shit the drones bring you now. There's army supplies for going off-world too. If this mall was for adults, it must be really fucking ancient. Jeez, has it really been that long since there were any adults on this planet? Even after all your time on Alternia, that still kinda freaks you out. What must that be like? To grow up entirely without adults? To live on a planet that's nothing but kids? Daraya gives you a weird look. What would it even be like to have adults down here too? That sounds way more dangerous and stupid. It's not like we're all wigglers. Trolls have to grow out of that mindset pretty fast. People have responsibilities or whatever the fuck, or at least they pretend to. And there's training and stuff for Jades. We're basically trapped. Maybe you'd think that a planet of kids would mean you can do whatever you want, but I've never had any freedom. And I'll have even less as an adult. Cloister Jades aren't even allowed to join the Imperial Army. Instead, we get shipped off to live in isolation. We're forbidden to contribute genetic material to the slurry, and no paling is allowed once we mature. For some, I don't know, bullshit old-fashioned reason that I pretty much don't understand at all. On Alternia, your whole future is decided the second you're hatched. People tell me all the time that I have it lucky as a Jade blood, but I don't feel lucky at all. Oof, yeah. You agree with Daraya that the future she's described sounds bleak as hell. Right? It's going to fucking suck. And it's so shitty that I have it good. I mean, at least I don't have certain early death in my future unlike a lot of low bloods. The system is so fucked up it's never gonna change and I hate it here. I just want a way out of it. Maybe, when you go back to your homeland, you could take me with you. The request comes out of left field, and for a few seconds you just blink at her stupidly. Even with all that angry black makeup around her eyes, she just looks so sad. Sad and lost. You wish you had a different answer to give her, but you tell her that you can't take her back to your planet because you don't know how, when, or if you're ever going home. You've been trying not to contemplate the future, because on the rare occasions that you do let yourself think about, existential dread tends to take over. Dread. Yeah, that's the word for it. The older I get, the more I realize how shitty things are. I try not to think about it, just like you, but it still hits home sometimes. And when it does, I don't feel like angry or rebellious. Instead, I feel completely fucking paralyzed. This too is a familiar emotion to you. You feel for Daraya, who has wandered over to the middle of the food court and is staring up through the cave-in at the moons. By the way, the music is very not appropriate right now. She has her arms wrapped around her middle, and the spiky jewelry and jagged haircut and big black boots don't do anything to make her look less small. You wish you knew what to say to make her feel better. You've done a decent job at cheering up dejected trolls in the past, but it's hard when you're feeling so crappy about your own situation. You mutter something about how things could still get better, you never know what the future holds, yada yada yada, and she looks at you like she just knows how hollow your words are. You sound just like Branya. Next they're gonna tell me how important J-Bloods are and what an honor all this responsibility is. Give me a break. Optimism is for chumps and losers. Keeping Earth safe doesn't matter. The continuation of our species doesn't matter. Nothing any of us do fucking matters. You feel your blood getting hot to match the steel that's now in her voice. A sick part of you finds this train of thought a lot more viscerally satisfying than trying to cheer her up, which wasn't working anyway. You stamp your feet, and so does she. I can't believe anyone bothers trying to carve out real life on this worthless shithole of a planet. There's no point. We might as well all be called. In the back of your mind, you know you should maybe be disagreeing with some of this, but you're too worked up to care. Maybe Daraya is right. Maybe nothing matters. I mean, objectively speaking, nothing factually matters. The universe doesn't matter. It's just a thing that exists and is happening. Physics, chemistry, and later biology. It's just doing its thing. There's no purpose behind it. It doesn't actually matter. And that's okay. We have the ability to create a purpose for ourselves. And that's what matters. Because we say so. We say so, and therefore it does. Once we're all gone, there will be no one to say so, and then it won't again. It's very simple like that. That's fucking right. Maybe I should just quit. You falter in your righteous fury. Maybe quitting is going a bit far. Maybe the highballs that go around causing death and destruction just because they can't have the right idea. This is starting to sound not so great. What doesn't sound great about it? Who cares if I decide I want to be a caretaker instead of just burn shit down for fun? There's no point in anything, so what does it matter? Who cares? Daraya's hands are balled into fists, and her teeth are bared as she glares at you. You open your mouth, maybe tell her that you care, even though that would probably sound trite, but no words come out. She scoffs and turns away from you and jumps up on the crumbly looking cafeteria table. You know what? Fuck this. Friendship is as pointless as everything else. She picks up one of the chairs, and you really need to stop being surprised at the strength of even the scrawniest looking trolls, and hurls it at the nearest fast food stall. You thought it was just a random thought first, but it appears that she was aiming with precision, because it crashes into a tank of fuel connected to the oven. Oh. You're not sure how Alternia cooking technology works, but the stall explodes in a huge green-tinged fireball that knocks you on your ass. You watch in horror from your ass-level vantage point as the flames lick into the restaurants on either side, explosions happening around the food court like dominoes. Daraya stands on her table in the middle of it, unmoving even as the fire threatens to envelop her. This is probably the only place I actually like on this whole planet. So, good riddance. If it's gone, one less thing to care about. With all the dust and debris, the small is coming down fast around you. You desperately want to get Daraya out of here, but you desperately want to save yourself more. And Daraya doesn't look like she wants to be saved. You make a feeble attempt, going over to her and trying to grab her around the waist to get her out of here, but she kicks you hard in the chest. Her steel-toed combat boots send you flying, and it's once again 0 days since you last broke your ribs. As used to this pain as you are, it still takes you a second of lying on the floor in agony before you can push yourself up to look back at the food court. A wall of fire now separates you from the tables inside. You can't even see Daraya anymore. Your heart sinks. Maybe she'll come to her senses and pull herself up out of danger and escape through the caved-in roof. Maybe she'll get out some other way. You stumble to your feet, half thinking that maybe you can find water or a fire extinguisher in some part of this mall that isn't burning up. But smoke chokes your lungs, and in your panic, your human survival instincts take over. You dash down the escalator as mall infrastructure starts to crumble around you, and you don't want to abandon Daraya, but it's all you can do to get your own sorry self out of there alive. Game over. Damn. In a way, this makes the most sense, honestly. But, come on, we can't leave it at that. We can't. We can't. So... But we picked Party Hard and there was another choice? Okay, Res. Let's just wander the streets like hoodlums instead. Let's not go to the abandoned mall and allow existential dread to take over and commit suicide. We don't want that again. Here's the thing. Your weirdest and best adventures have happened to you when you've decided to be spontaneous and just let shit happen. Adventures and coolness are both hard things to plan. So what are you suggesting? That we just wander? Heard the rest of tone makes you hesitate, but well, yeah. That's exactly what you're suggesting. Daraya gives you a long, considering look. You hold your breath. Then she shrugs. Okay, whatever, sure. Not like I have anything better to do. Let's just go. You meander through the well-maintained cerulean streets, heading downtown. This seems like a good opportunity to get to know your new potential friend, so you start by asking her some fairly simple questions. How am I? Gee, I don't know. I'm forbidden to leave the stupid caverns, and as a Jadeblood, all I have to look forward to is a life of being forbidden to do things. How do you think I am? Okay. You try to walk that one back a little. It sounds like Daraya is unsatisfied with the Jadeblood setup. That's one way to put it. You could also say that I'm unsatisfied with, like, the whole setup of my species. You've been here for a while now. Don't tell me you haven't noticed that every part of our society is transparent bullshit. You glance around, because Daraya is right. You've been around for a while, and that means you know enough to know that if the wrong people overheard this kind of talk, you'd both get culled on the spot. But everyone here seems distracted by their own nonsense. Cautiously, you can see that, yeah, you've noticed a certain bullshit aroma. Yep, it all stinks. No one has any kind of real future except for the highest of the high bloods. And actually, I've heard that things pretty much suck for them too. Some might say that purebloods are the most disprivileged class of them all. Purple bloods, right. You're just going to continue to not comment on that one. And because we already heard that one straight from the god of the purple bloods. Instead, you point out that being a Jadeblood, Daraya has a purpose beyond that, just going up to become fodder in the Imperial Army. Like you've heard other trolls mention. Surely that counts as a real future. Don't get me started. Suffice to say, I'm not exactly hyped about the purpose that I supposedly have. More like the purpose that was arbitrarily assigned to me. But it's not like I have a choice. And rebelling in any sort of real way would put me in danger of culling. Life here is pretty much just hopeless. Damn, you wish you had a good counter-argument. You want to give her some words of comfort, but what can you even say? Daraya's right. Shit's grim. At least you're honest. Thanks for not bullshitting me. You know, Linnea said you were good to talk to about real stuff. I guess she was right. That's... huh. You're surprised that Linnea is going around talking about you, saying positive things even. But you're more surprised that Daraya is bringing her up in a non-derisive context. You didn't know that Daraya and Linnea were close? No, gross. I hate Linnea. And not in a romantic way. Or, well... Anyway, never mind. Okay, there's something going on there, sure. I mean, they're all cramped up in caverns. They still have, like, instinctive, like, things. Like social needs and desires and stuff like that still happens. But they're isolated, so they don't have a chance to interact with a lot. So, you know, make friends with what you got. Daraya looks embarrassed and flustered and also pissed at you. At least you've gotten the subject away from how hopeless everything is, but still, you don't want this friendship to sour. As you're scanning your useless brain for a tactful subject change, you're saved by the footsteps of a new troll approaching. Oh hi, and as luck would have it, you know this troll. It's Theseus, which makes sense because your meandering has taken you and Daraya close to Theseus' favorite book hive. Oh, it's you. What are you doing here? Never mind, I don't even need to ask. You're obviously making friends with this J-Blood. Searching for some dumb shit to do, no doubt. Don't let me keep you. Theseus looks just as exhausted as you remember. You don't want her to go just yet, because it's been a while since you've seen her, and you're always eager for an opportunity to catch up with a friend, especially one of the less murderous ones. Then you notice Daraya eyeing Theseus' mug of unidentifiable liquid, and an idea occurs to you. It's water. It's just water. You get excited, bouncing a little on the balls of your feet as you introduce Theseus and Daraya to each other. You explain to Theseus, with a meaningful look that you hope she'll interpret incorrectly, that you and Daraya were just conversing about the more unjust aspects of Alternia society and how hopeless everything seems to be. What do you mean, the more unjust aspects? Does Alternian society have aspects that are not unjust? Good counterpoint. I'm sweeps into studying our legal system, and I haven't found any. Daraya makes a muffled sound that could be a laugh. You make your meaningful look more meaningful. Doesn't Theseus remember the conversation she had with you about justice and the shitty system, the points of possibly futile work to try and improve things someday? Pissing? Theseus squints at you, then takes a long slurp from her mug. Right. Yeah, I remember. You wave your hands around. Now we're talking. This is one of the few friends you've made that seemed to not only notice that shit was fucked, but wanted to dedicate herself to unfucking the shit as much as she could. Of course, many of your dear friends try to make the world a little better in various clumsy, interpersonal, distinctly Alternian ways. You think of Chixie striving for her music, even when it pits her against high-bloods, the baffling but sweet ways that Conil and Azdaj and Galak and Tagora care for each other, and Fawzer's commitment to political... Wait, why did you think of that guy? He's a total shill for the Condens, except when he wasn't. Yeah, Anyway, Theseus has a big picture mentality and a cause that she believes in, and the simple fact that she hasn't yet completely given up is inspiring. Daraya is struggling with feelings of despair, so maybe Theseus could talk to her about the work that she's been doing. What? No, I'm not struggling. It's whatever. I don't even care. Daraya kicks at the ground sulkily. Theseus looks over, her eyes lingering on the jade symbol on her shirt and her speckly black jewelry, then sighs. Sure you don't care. I went through a phase of telling myself that too. I thought it would make an easier deal. But nah. Theseus pauses for another mug slurp, and you think she might be enjoying the opportunity to monologue a little bit. Daraya huffs. The only thing that helps, and I'm not even sure that helps is the right word for it, is finding something to work on in your own little corner. To try and make shit a little less... But there's nothing I can do in my corner. It's pointless to pretend otherwise. I forgot which voice, like... Switching between multiple voices is brain fuckery. And that goes for everyone. Like, this whole system's designed to help high-blood stamp out dissent in every corner. Montreal can't do anything against something like that. Theseus' eyebrow twitches as she stares at Daraya, clearly peeved at being interrupted. Uh-oh. This could be going better. Well, no shit. What do you take me for? I'm not saying that all it takes is standing up and fighting for what's right or something stupid like that. That's obviously a surefire way to get killed. Well, then what are you saying? How can you even know whatever piddly little action you're taking will change anything? I can't tell you the future, dumbass. No one can give you a guarantee that any kind of action taken will be ultimately effective. You have to decide for yourself that it's worth it to try anyway. Why would you think it's worth it when everything around us confirms that nothing will ever change? I can't believe you're calling me a dumbass when that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Tizis looks like she's about ready to throw the contents of her mug into Daraya's face. Knowing trolls, she'd probably follow up with the mug itself. This is not the conversation you'd hoped for at all. You step in before things can get any more heated. You tell Tizis that you're sorry that you didn't flag her down just so that her ideas could get shit on. You turn to Daraya, who's staring at both of you with a defiant look on her face and a stubborn set to her jaw. This kid, she's just so dead set on rebelling against anyone who tries to tell her anything with even faintest whiff of authority. You really thought that maybe all that attitude could be channeled into something productive that would also help her feel better and possibly even give her a sense of purpose. You're not mad, just disappointed. Ugh. Don't give me that look. Okay, I was just stating my opinion. But I guess I could have been less of a bone bulge about it. You're pleasantly surprised that Daraya more or less apologized. Tizis looks mollified too. This shit just makes me so angry. Angry and sad and helpless. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself when I really have to think about it. Bingo. Unfortunately, I feel the same way. I don't think there's anything getting around the helplessness. But what I was trying to say is that working on something might help fix things someday. Makes that feeling a little less powerful. So what you're saying is that it's just about making yourself feel better? Well, when you put it like that, it sounds bad. I believe I'm working on things that might affect change someday, even if I'm not around to see it. But also, yeah, most of the time it helps me sleep at night too. You can tell Daraya's a bit disappointed by this, like she doesn't trust that political rebellion can go hand in hand with making the rebels feel good about themselves. I mean, you can do both, it's not mutually exclusive. You point out that whether or not Isis feels good about her work doesn't make the work itself any less effective. Yeah, in the end the users doesn't care about how I feel. I'm just one troll trying to do the right thing. Or at least the okay thing. For its own sake, even if it might ultimately be futile. What the fuck else are we gonna do on this bitch of an Alternia? Hey, you've got me there. I'm bored all the time and there really isn't anything cool to do down in the caverns. I guess during downtime and training I could, I don't know, help you out maybe? Not that I have anything to offer other than the book of the Jade Cloisters. Access to that might really help with my research actually. Give me your number and we can talk. Is it just your imagination, or does Tizis look a smidgen less tired? The bags under her eyes less baggy, and her back a little straighter. And you think the corners of Daraya's lips might be very slightly quirked up. Daraya turns her possibly a smile from Tizis to you. This was cool, I guess. Or at least not so bad. But I don't know if it counts as something cool. So I guess we could keep hanging out until more shit happens. You know Daraya well enough by now to recognize this for the ringing endorsement that it is. You're about to happily agree when Tizis pipes up. I'm just heading home from studying, but I'm not tired yet. If you want a third wheel to drag along, yeah, sure, let's hang out. Leave our friendship combo of victory. Combo of victory, sure. That's nice. There we go. That's nice. Tizis and the mug of water. Look, there we go. There we go. We got an important glimpse into the darker side of things. Which, yes, good. I feel that's a good thing. But friendship is nice. Yay, friendship. A three-way friendship. Best things ever. Yay. Bye-bye now.